to step back rather than move closer. Now remember someone who was simply present with you, comfortable in their own skin, not needing anything from you. That's magnetic. That's what happens when the chasing stops. Where are you listening from right now? Are you at home, curled up somewhere comfortable? Maybe you're walking or lying in bed after a long day. If it feels right, share your location below, because this ancient wisdom creates something beautiful when it's shared across the world. Take a moment to settle in. Let your shoulders drop just a little. There's nowhere else you need to be. The Buddha discovered something revolutionary 25 centuries ago. Your suffering doesn't come from what happens to you. It comes from how tightly you grip what you think should happen. Every time you chase a feeling, demand a particular outcome, or insist that someone behave a certain way, you create the very tension that pushes away what you're seeking. But here's where everything shifts. When you learn the art of attraction instead of pursuit, life begins reorganizing itself around your peace. Let's discover how. Picture this scene for a moment. You're standing on a beach, holding fine sand in your cupped hands. The grains are cool and smooth against your skin. Now imagine trying to keep every single grain exactly where it is. Your fingers tighten, your palms press together, your whole body tenses with the effort. What happens? The sand slips through the tiny spaces between your fingers, escaping faster the harder you squeeze. But now imagine holding that same sand with open, relaxed palms. Your hands are steady, but soft. The sand rests naturally in the curves of your hands. Some grains might drift away with the breeze, and that's perfectly fine. What remains settles comfortably, held not by force, but by the natural shape of your open hands. This is the secret the Buddha discovered under the Bodhi tree 2,500 years ago. Life flows most freely to us when we stop trying to control its every movement. Love deepens when we stop demanding it look a certain way. Peace arrives when we quit chasing after it so desperately. Happiness emerges when we're no longer forcing it to show up on our timeline. There's an ancient story about a Zen monk named Banzan who spent years meditating in monasteries, seeking enlightenment through countless hours of formal practice. One day, he was walking through a busy marketplace when he overheard a conversation between a butcher and his customer. The customer asked for the best piece of meat, and the butcher replied, "Everything in my shop is the best. There is nothing here that is not the best." In that moment, Banzan understood something profound. He had been searching everywhere for the best spiritual experience, the perfect moment of awakening. But every moment was already perfect, exactly as it was. His enlightenment didn't come from finding something new. It came from letting go of the idea that he needed to find anything at all. Think about your own life for a moment. Where are you gripping so tightly that your knuckles have turned white. Maybe it's a relationship where you keep trying to change the other person. Perhaps it's a job situation where you're fighting against circumstances beyond your control. Or it could be an image of how your life should look that you're clinging to, even though it's causing you daily stress. The Buddha had a word for this gripping. He called it tanha, which means thirst or craving. But this wasn't the healthy thirst your body feels when it needs water. This was the desperate, never satisfied thirst of always wanting things to be different than they are. The thirst that makes you believe happiness lives somewhere else, with someone else, at some other time. Here's what makes this discovery so profound. The Buddha realized that our suffering doesn't actually come from the circumstances of our lives. It comes from our relationship to those circumstances. Two people can experience the exact same situation: losing a job, ending a relationship, facing an illness, and have completely different levels of suffering based on how tightly they're gripping their expectations. When the Buddha spoke about the Four Noble Truths, he wasn't delivering cosmic judgments or universal laws carved in stone. He was offering a gentle diagnosis, like a skilled doctor who sees your pain clearly and wants to help you understand where it's really coming from. The first truth is simply this: suffering exists. Not because life is meaningless or cruel, but because suffering is woven into the fabric of human experience. You don't need to feel guilty about your pain or pretend it doesn't exist. The Buddha is saying, yes, this hurts, and that's completely understandable. The second truth goes deeper. Suffering has a cause. And that cause isn't your difficult boss, your stubborn partner, or your challenging circumstances. The cause is your attachment to how things should be. Every time you find yourself thinking, this shouldn't be happening, or they should act differently, or life should be easier, you're creating the very tension that hurts. But here's where hope enters the picture. The third truth is revolutionary. Suffering can end. Not because you'll finally get everything you want, but because you can learn to hold your desires differently. You can want things without needing them to happen exactly as you imagine. You can care deeply without drowning in attachment. The fourth truth is the practical part. There's a path to this freedom. It's not a mysterious, complicated journey available only to monks and mystics. It's a series of gentle practices that gradually teach you how to hold life with open hands. To understand how this works, the Buddha taught about the 5 aggregates, 5 different aspects of human experience that we often mistake for our true self. These are form, sensation, perception, mental formations, and consciousness. When you realize that you are not any of these parts in isolation, but something much more fluid and spacious, you begin to loosen your rigid identification with your thoughts and emotions. Your body changes constantly, from childhood to old age. your sensations shift moment by moment. Your perceptions alter based on your mood, health, and circumstances. Your thoughts and mental patterns evolve throughout your life. Even your consciousness moves through different states: waking, dreaming, deep sleep. So who are you really beneath all these changing elements? You are the aware space in which all these experiences arise and pass away. You are not your achievements or your failures, not your anxious thoughts or your moments of joy. You are something much more vast and unchanging, the witness of all these temporary experiences. There's a beautiful story about a Zen master named Ryokan, who lived simply in a small hut on a mountain. One night, a thief broke into his hut looking for valuables. Ryokan had nothing worth stealing, so he gave the thief his clothes and said, "I wish I could give you this beautiful moon as well." The thief left, confused and empty-handed. Later, Ryokan sat naked under the moonlight and wrote a poem. The thief left it behind, the moon at the window. Ryokan understood something most people miss. True wealth can't be stolen because it doesn't depend on external possessions. When you're not attached to things, you can't lose what truly matters. The moon, beauty, peace, the present moment was still there, untouched by the thief's actions. Let's explore what this looks like in your daily life. Letting go doesn't mean becoming passive or giving up on things that matter to you. It means learning to act from inspiration rather than desperation. It means caring without clinging, loving without possessing, hoping without demanding. Start with something small. Maybe there's a habit you've been trying to change for months. Perhaps you want to exercise more, eat healthier, or wake up earlier. Notice how much mental energy you've been spending on fighting with yourself about this. Now try a different approach. Instead of forcing the change, create gentle conditions that make the new habit more likely to happen naturally. If you want to exercise more, don't set impossible goals that guarantee failure. Instead, put your workout clothes by your bed the night before. Lower the barrier instead of raising your willpower. If you want to eat healthier, don't shame yourself for your food choices. Simply place a bowl of fruit where you'll see it when you're hungry. Create conditions for what you want rather than forcing what you want. The same principle applies to relationships. Think about someone in your life who frustrates you regularly. Maybe they're always late, or they interrupt when you're speaking, or they don't show affection the way you prefer. Notice how much energy you spend trying to change them through hints, complaints, or silent resentment. What would happen if you stopped trying to change them and started accepting them exactly as they are? This doesn't mean tolerating disrespect or abandoning your boundaries. It means releasing the exhausting project of trying to remake another human being according to your preferences. Often, when you stop pushing against someone, they naturally begin moving toward you. There's a lesser-known story about Master Linji, who was once asked by a student about the meaning of Zen during a time of great chaos in the kingdom. Bandits were roaming the countryside, and people were fleeing their homes in terror. The student asked, "Master, in such terrible times, how can we find peace?" Master Linji pointed to a blind donkey grazing peacefully in a field nearby and said, "Look at that donkey. It doesn't know these are terrible times, so it continues to eat grass and be content. The chaos exists, but the donkey's peace also exists. Which reality will you choose to live in?" The master wasn't suggesting ignorance or denial of real problems. He was pointing to something deeper, that even in the midst of external chaos, inner peace remains available. Your circumstances don't determine your experience as much as your relationship to those circumstances does. The blind donkey couldn't see the chaos, but you can choose not to be consumed by it. This story teaches us that our judgments about situations often create more suffering than the situations themselves. When you label something as terrible or wonderful, you're creating an emotional charge that may not serve you. What if you could respond to challenges with the same equanimity as the donkey, not from blindness, but from a deeper understanding that your peace doesn't depend on external circumstances? Here's a practical exercise you can do right now. It's called the emotional inventory, and it takes just 5 minutes. Take a piece of paper or open a note on your phone. Write down 3 things you're currently holding on to tightly, 3 sources of stress or frustration in your life. For each one, ask yourself these questions. Why am I gripping this so tightly? What do I think will happen if I let go? What part of me is resisting the idea of releasing this? Just the act of putting these thoughts into words begins to loosen their hold on you. You might write something like, "I'm holding on to anger at my coworker because they got the promotion I wanted. Why am I gripping this? Because I feel it's unfair. What will happen if I let go? I'm afraid people will think I don't care about my career. What part of me resists letting go? The part that wants to be seen as successful and valuable." Now you can see the real issue isn't your coworker or the promotion. It's your attachment to being perceived in a certain way. That's something you can work with, something you can gradually release without giving up your ambition or self-respect. Try this letting go meditation. Sit comfortably and close your eyes. Take 3 deep breaths, feeling your body settle with each exhale. Now imagine you're carrying a heavy backpack filled with all your worries, resentments, and attachments. Feel the weight of it on your shoulders. With each exhale, imagine setting this backpack down on the ground next to you. You're not throwing it away. It's still there if you need it. But for now, you're choosing not to carry it. Notice how your body feels lighter, how your breathing deepens, how your mind becomes more spacious. Some thoughts might arise like, "But I need to worry about this," or "I can't just let go of something so important." Gently acknowledge these thoughts and return to the image of the backpack resting safely beside you. You're not abandoning your responsibilities. You're approaching them from a place of clarity rather than anxiety. There's another beautiful story about an old temple where a monk was tasked with carrying water from the well to the kitchen every day. He used 2 large pots suspended from either end of a wooden pole across his shoulders. One pot was perfect and held water beautifully, but the other had a crack that leaked water throughout the entire journey. After many months, the cracked pot spoke to the monk and said, "I am ashamed. Every day I lose half the water you carry, making your work twice as hard." The monk smiled and said, "Tomorrow, pay attention to the path as we walk." The next day, as they walked from the well to the temple, the cracked pot noticed something it had never seen before. On its side of the path, beautiful wildflowers bloomed everywhere, while the other side remained barren. The monk explained, "I planted flower seeds only on your side of the path because I knew you would water them. For 2 years, I've been able to pick these beautiful flowers to decorate the temple altar. Without your flaw, this beauty would not exist." This story reveals something profound about our relationship to our perceived imperfections. What you consider your biggest flaw might actually be creating beauty in ways you can't see. Your sensitivity might help others feel understood. Your struggles might give you compassion for people going through similar challenges. Your different way of thinking might offer solutions that others miss. Instead of trying to fix your cracks, what if you looked for the flowers they might be watering? Instead of hiding your imperfections, what if you trusted that they might serve a purpose you haven't discovered yet? The Buddha taught that nothing in this world is permanent except the fact of impermanence itself. Your current problems won't last forever, but neither will your current joys. Your relationships will change, your body will age, your circumstances will shift. When you truly understand this impermanence, you begin to hold everything more lightly. You enjoy what's here without desperately trying to make it permanent. You endure what's difficult without believing it will last forever. This doesn't make you indifferent or uncaring. In fact, it often makes you more present and loving because you're not wasting energy on the impossible task of stopping change. You're free to fully experience what's actually happening instead of fighting against what's happening. Consider how this might transform your approach to work. Instead of gripping tightly to specific outcomes, you can focus on doing your best work and releasing attachment to how others respond. Instead of trying to control your colleagues' opinions, you can concentrate on being authentic and letting the relationships develop naturally. This shift often leads to better results because you're acting from clarity rather than anxiety. Or think about how this applies to your health. Instead of fighting your body or demanding it be different, you can work with it compassionately. You can take care of yourself without becoming obsessed with perfect health. You can accept your body's limitations while still encouraging its natural healing and strength. Even your emotions become easier to navigate when you stop gripping them so tightly. Sadness moves through you more quickly when you don't resist it. Anger transforms into clarity when you don't feed it with stories about how wrong everything is. Joy deepens when you don't desperately try to make it permanent. Here's something beautiful that happens as you practice letting go. You begin to notice that life has its own intelligence, its own timing, its own way of working things out. Solutions appear that you never could have planned. Opportunities emerge from unexpected directions. People enter your life exactly when you need them most. This isn't magical thinking. It's what becomes visible when you're not so busy forcing and controlling that you miss the natural flow of support around you. It's like finally hearing the music that was playing all along once you stop making so much noise with your own struggle. Try this experiment for 1 week. Choose one area of your life where you've been pushing hard for a particular outcome. Instead of abandoning your goal, simply change your approach. Take the actions that feel natural and necessary, but release your white-knuckled grip on exactly how and when things should unfold. Notice what happens, not just in your external circumstances, but in your body, your mind, your overall sense of well-being. You might discover that the very thing you were pushing away with your effort begins flowing toward you when you create space for it. You might find that solutions you never considered become obvious. You might realize that what you thought you wanted wasn't actually what would make you happy. The Buddha compared our usual way of living to a monkey with its hand caught in a jar. The monkey reaches through the narrow opening to grab the food inside, but once its fist is full, it can't pull its hand back out. The monkey could easily free itself by letting go of what it's grasping, but it's so focused on the food that it doesn't see the obvious solution. How many jars do you have your hand caught in right now? How many things are you grasping so tightly that you've trapped yourself? The freedom you're seeking might be as simple as opening your fist. But letting go is just the beginning of something even more beautiful. When you create space, by releasing what no longer serves you, that space doesn't stay empty. It becomes filled with presence, with awareness, with a different quality of aliveness. And this brings us to one of the most practical and transformative aspects of Buddhist wisdom, learning to train your mind like you would train your body, but with infinite gentleness and patience. close your eyes for a moment and imagine your mind as a garden. Not the perfectly manicured kind you see in magazines, but a real garden where weeds grow alongside flowers, where some seasons are abundant and others feel barren. Now imagine tending this garden, not with force or frustration, but with the patient curiosity of someone who understands that growth happens in its own time. This is what meditation really is. It's not about creating an empty, silent mind. That's one of the biggest misunderstandings that keeps people from experiencing its gifts. Meditation is about learning to be a gentle gardener of your own awareness, cultivating the conditions where peace can naturally bloom. In this garden of your mind, thoughts are not weeds to be eliminated, but natural growth that requires wise tending. Some thoughts are like wildflowers, beautiful and spontaneous. Others might be like brambles, prickly and unwanted, but still part of the landscape. A skilled gardener doesn't wage war against the brambles. They understand how to work with them skillfully. Most people approach meditation like they're going into battle against their thoughts. They sit down with the mission to empty their mind and then feel defeated when thoughts keep arising. It's like trying to stop the ocean from making waves, exhausting and ultimately impossible. The Buddha never taught that you should eliminate thoughts. He taught that you should change your relationship to them. Think about it this way. When you're watching clouds drift across the sky, you don't try to push them away or hold on to the ones you find beautiful. You simply observe their natural movement. Your thoughts are like those clouds. They arise, they change, they pass away. Meditation teaches you to be the sky, not the clouds. There's a story about a young monk who complained to his teacher that his meditation was terrible because his mind was full of thoughts. The teacher took him to a muddy pond and said, "Look at this water. You can't see the bottom because it's stirred up." Then he led the monk to a clear mountain stream and said, "This water is also full of movement, but because it's not fighting against its flow, you can see all the way to the bottom." The teacher smiled and said, "Your mind doesn't need to be still, like a dead pond. It needs to be clear like a flowing stream." This story points to something revolutionary about meditation practice. Clarity doesn't come from stopping your thoughts. It comes from not getting caught up in their drama. When you sit in meditation and notice your mind wandering to your grocery list, you don't need to judge yourself or try harder. You simply notice, "Oh, there's planning happening," and gently return your attention to your breath. It's like training a puppy, firm but kind, consistent but not harsh. The Buddha taught two main types of meditation that work together like old friends. The first is called shamatha, which means peaceful abiding or calm mental staying. This practice trains your mind to rest on a single object, usually your breath, and to return there each time it wanders. Shamatha is like strengthening your mental muscles. Just as you might lift weights to build physical strength, you practice returning your attention to your breath to build concentration. At first, your mind might wander every few seconds, and that's completely normal. You're not failing, you're noticing, and noticing is actually the whole point. When practicing shamatha, you might place your attention on the sensation of breath at your nostrils, feeling the cool air entering and the warm air leaving. Or you might focus on the gentle rise and fall of your belly. The specific object matters less than your commitment to returning to it each time your mind travels elsewhere. This returning is not a failure, it's the practice itself. The second type is vipassana, which means clear seeing or insight. While shamatha teaches you to focus, vipassana teaches you to observe. Instead of concentrating on one thing, you open your awareness to notice whatever arises: thoughts, emotions, sensations, without getting involved in their stories. Vipassana is like becoming a scientist of your own experience. You might notice, there's anxiety in my chest, or there's a story about what I should have said yesterday, or there's tension in my shoulders. You're not trying to fix or change anything. You're simply gathering data about how your mind and body actually work. In Vipassana practice, you learn to distinguish between primary experiences and secondary reactions. The primary experience might be a physical sensation of tightness in your chest. The secondary reaction is the story you tell yourself about that sensation. This means I'm having a panic attack, or I must be dying. Through practice, you learn to stay with the primary experience without getting swept away by the secondary stories. Here's what makes this so powerful. Most of the time, you're completely identified with your thoughts and emotions. When anxiety arises, you become anxious. When anger appears, you become angry. But meditation creates a small space between you and these experiences. You begin to see that you are not your anxiety. You are the one who notices anxiety. You are not your anger. You are the awareness in which anger appears and disappears. This shift changes everything. When you can observe your emotions without being overwhelmed by them, you naturally start responding to life from a place of choice rather than reaction. You might still feel frustrated when stuck in traffic, but you don't have to let that frustration ruin your entire day. You might still feel sad about a loss, but you don't have to believe the story that says you'll never be happy again. Now, you might be thinking, this all sounds wonderful, but I don't have time for long meditation sessions. Here's the beautiful truth. You don't need them. The most transformative meditation practice isn't about sitting for an hour in perfect silence. It's about weaving 5-minute moments of awareness throughout your day. There's an ancient teaching about a master who was asked how long one should meditate. He replied, "If you're very busy, meditate for 20 minutes. If you're extremely busy, meditate for an hour." This wasn't a joke. It was pointing to the truth that the busier your mind becomes, the more you need these moments of stillness. But those moments don't have to be lengthy to be powerful. Think of meditation like water, slowly wearing down stone. It's not the force of a single powerful wave that creates change. It's the gentle, consistent contact over time. 5 minutes of genuine presence each morning can be more transformative than an hour of distracted sitting once a week. Consider how you might approach these 5-minute sessions. Find a comfortable position where you can sit with your spine naturally upright but not rigid. Close your eyes or soften your gaze downward. Begin by taking 3 deep breaths, allowing each exhale to release any tension you're holding. Then let your breathing return to its natural rhythm. Place your attention gently on your breath, like a butterfly landing on a flower. When you notice your mind has wandered, and it will, simply acknowledge where it went without judgment. You might mentally note thinking or planning or remembering, and then gently escort your attention back to your breath. This process of wandering and returning is not a distraction from meditation, it is meditation. The Buddha taught that you can practice mindfulness in 4 foundations: mindfulness of the body, mindfulness of feelings, mindfulness of the mind, and mindfulness of mental objects. These aren't separate practices you need to master individually. They're different doorways into the same room of awareness. Mindfulness of the body might be as simple as feeling your feet on the ground as you walk to your kitchen. Notice the weight shifting from one foot to the other, the sensation of your clothes against your skin, the temperature of the air around you. Mindfulness of feelings could be noticing the pleasant sensation of warm sunlight on your face, or the unpleasant feeling of hunger in your stomach. You're not trying to change these feelings, just acknowledging them clearly. Mindfulness of mind might be observing when your thoughts become scattered like leaves in the wind, or when they feel focused and clear like a calm lake. Mindfulness of mental objects could be watching how certain memories trigger specific emotions, or how particular thoughts create tension in your body. Each of these foundations offers a pathway to greater awareness and freedom. But meditation isn't just something you do sitting on a cushion with your eyes closed. The Vietnamese Zen master Thich Nhat Hanh taught that you can transform any moment into meditation if you bring full presence to it. Washing dishes becomes meditation when you feel the warm water and notice the smoothness of the plates. Walking becomes meditation when you feel each step connecting with the ground. Even brushing your teeth becomes meditation when you pay attention to the sensations and movements. There's a story about a Zen master named Joshu who was asked by a student, "What is the most important teaching in Buddhism?" Joshu was sweeping the temple courtyard at the time and without stopping his work, he simply said, "Sweeping." The confused student pressed further, "But master, surely there must be something more profound than sweeping." Joshu paused, looked directly at the student, and said, "Then you haven't understood sweeping." This story reveals something profound about the nature of awakened awareness. Enlightenment isn't found in extraordinary experiences or mystical states. It's found in bringing complete presence to whatever you're doing right now. When you're fully present while sweeping, you're not thinking about what you'll do next or replaying what happened yesterday. You're simply here, now, engaged in the simple act of sweeping. And in that complete presence, something magical happens. Ordinary actions become sacred. Another beautiful teaching comes from Master Huangpo, who said, "Your everyday mind, that is the way." He wasn't talking about your distracted, worried, planning mind. He was pointing to the natural awareness that's always present beneath the mental chatter. The mind that notices the taste of your morning coffee, that feels grateful for a friend's laughter, that recognizes beauty in unexpected moments. This everyday awareness, when cultivated through practice, becomes your gateway to peace. The traditional Buddhist understanding of how meditation works is both simple and profound. The Buddha taught that our suffering comes from three mental poisons: greed, hatred, and delusion. Meditation doesn't eliminate these tendencies. It helps you see them clearly, so they lose their power over you. When greed arises as a desperate wanting for things to be different, meditation helps you notice this craving without being consumed by it. When hatred appears as aversion to what's happening now, meditation teaches you to acknowledge this resistance without letting it control your actions. When delusion clouds your perception with stories about how things should be, meditation clears the mental fog so you can see reality more clearly. This process happens naturally, like muddy water settling when you stop stirring it. The Buddha compared the mind to a jar of muddy water. When you're constantly agitating it with worry, planning, and reactivity, you can't see clearly. But when you stop stirring, when you simply sit and observe, without interfering, the mud gradually settles and the water becomes clear. Let's make this practical for your daily life. Here are 3 simple ways to begin training your mind like a garden, starting today. First, the morning breath practice. Before you check your phone or get out of bed, take 3 conscious breaths. Feel your body against the mattress. Notice the quality of light in your room and simply breathe. This isn't about achieving any particular state. It's about starting your day with awareness rather than immediately jumping into activity. Let this practice be like opening the curtains in your mind, gently welcoming the day. Second, the mindful transition practice. Choose one daily transition, like walking from your car to your workplace, or from one room to another in your home and use it as a meditation bell. Each time you make this transition, take 3 conscious steps where you feel your feet touching the ground and notice your breath. This simple practice begins to break up the autopilot patterns that keep you disconnected from the present moment. Think of these transitions as doorways where you can step from distraction into presence. Third, the emotional weather practice. Several times throughout your day, pause and ask yourself, what's the weather like in my mind right now? Is it stormy with worry, cloudy with confusion, sunny with contentment? You're not trying to change the weather, you're simply becoming aware of it. This practice helps you realize that emotions, like weather, are temporary and constantly changing. Just as you wouldn't try to argue with a thunderstorm, you can learn to let emotional storms pass through without resistance. There's a lesser-known story about a monk who spent years trying to achieve perfect meditation. He would sit for hours, fighting with his thoughts and becoming frustrated when his mind wandered. One day, exhausted from his efforts, he simply gave up trying to meditate correctly and just sat quietly, allowing whatever arose to be there. In that moment of surrender, he noticed something he had missed in all his striving. The birds were singing outside the meditation hall, the wind was rustling through the trees, and his breath was flowing naturally, without any effort on his part. He realized that meditation wasn't something he needed to create or achieve. It was something that was always happening, waiting for him to notice. This story points to one of the most liberating aspects of meditation practice. You're not trying to create a special state or have profound experiences. You're simply learning to recognize and rest in the natural peace that's always available beneath the surface of your busy mind. The 8th century Buddhist master Shantideva wrote, "If you want to know your mind, sit down and observe it." This simple instruction contains everything you need to know about meditation. You don't need special techniques, expensive equipment, or years of training. You just need the willingness to sit down and pay attention to what's actually happening in your experience right now. As you begin to cultivate this quality of gentle attention, you might notice that your relationship to everything starts to shift. Difficult emotions don't feel as overwhelming because you're not fighting them. Pleasant experiences become richer because you're fully present for them. Everyday activities become more satisfying because you're actually there while they're happening. Food tastes better when you're not eating while scrolling through your phone. Conversations become more meaningful when you're truly listening instead of planning what to say next. The Buddha taught that meditation is like polishing a mirror. You're not trying to create something new. You're simply removing the dust that's been accumulating on the surface. Beneath all the mental chatter and emotional reactivity, your natural clarity and peace are already there, waiting to be revealed. Remember, You don't need to be perfect at this. There's no such thing as a bad meditation session. Every time you notice your mind has wandered and gently bring your attention back, you're strengthening your capacity for awareness. Every moment of presence, no matter how brief, is a victory worth celebrating. As your mind settles, something magical happens to how you see and experience the world around you. Colors seem more vivid, sounds become more clear, and you begin to notice beauty in places you never looked before. This isn't because the world has changed. It's because you're finally awake enough to see what was always there. Right now, as you're listening to these words, there's a secret door standing wide open just beside you. You've probably walked past it thousands of times without noticing, too busy rushing towards some imagined future or replaying scenes from yesterday. This door doesn't lead to another place. It opens into this place, this moment, this breath you're taking right now. And the extraordinary thing about this door is that it's always available.